Great. So our student leadership and involvement panel tonight is sponsored by Omicron Delta Kappa, which is the National Leadership Honor Society. We do have a Sweetbriar circle on our campus, and junior and senior level students are able to apply for that honorary and be selected in. Omicron Delta Kappa is a national organization, and it celebrates involvement in 5 phases of campus life, which are the arts, scholarship, athletics, community service or campus service, and mass media and journalism. And so we have several members of our Sweetbriar Circle here tonight. We have Olympia Lahota, Dejanay Cole, and then Victoria Stackpool, who is our circle's vice president. And Victoria is going to be moderating tonight, so I will introduce her. Victoria Stackpool is a senior majoring in political science and history. Currently, she acts as chairwoman for the Admissions Ambassadors, vice president of Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Honor Society, and secretary for Earphones, which is our sports spirit club on campus. In previous years, she has also held various positions in student government and other club leadership roles. So thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. And I have the wonderful honor, I hope you can all hear me, it looks like you can, of introducing those on our panel tonight. So first I'd like to introduce Ingrid. Ingrid, can you just say hello quickly so they can see your face?
Hello.
All right. Ingrid is a first year majoring in political science and history. Even as a first year, Ingrid has jumped at the chance to become involved. She is a class officer for the Student Government Association, an admissions ambassador, and a member of Young Democrats. Within her roles as a member of Latinx Club and Sweetbriar's Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Ingrid has had the chance to bring speakers to campus and attend diversity conferences and trainings off campus. Ingrid is also a member of the field hockey team. Thanks. Next, I'd like to introduce Annika. Sorry. Annika, can you quickly say hello so they can see your face?
Hi, everyone.
Annika is a sophomore majoring in environmental science and economics. Annika is passionate about sustainability as she serves as vice president for the Sustainability Club and is the head student beekeeper on campus. She is a captain of the varsity golf team and serves as a golf representative on the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. She is also the vice president of Sweet Dancers, our campus ballroom dancing club, and is the president of Alpha Lambda Delta National Honor Society. Next, I'd like to introduce Olympia. Olympia, can you also say hello, please?
Hello.
Okay. Olympia is a senior majoring in art history and dance with an arts management certificate and BFA. She is an active participant in Sweetbriar's theater and dance programs, where she's a member of Paints and Patches and serves as the president of Taps and Toes. Olympia is an admissions ambassador and has served as the president of Sweetbriar's Interclub Council for 2 years. Olympia has been recognized with the honor of being inducted into several honor societies, including Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Honor Society, Alpha Lambda Delta National Honor Society, Alpha Psi Omega National Theater Honor Society, and Kappa Pi International Arts Honor Society, of which she serves as president. And then last but not least, I'd like to introduce Dejanay. Can you say hello, Dejanay?
Hi.
Dejanay is a senior majoring in biology and psychology. She is the president of the Black Student Alliance and a member of Sweetbriar's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Dejanay is a motivated student who has taken on leadership positions as a peer academic mentor and as a co-editor and design editor for Red Clay, Sweetbriar's literary magazine. Dejanay is an orientation leader, peer health educator, and a judicial representative for the Student Government Association. She has also been honored as a member of Tau Phi and Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Honor Society. And that is everybody we have.
Perfect. So everyone, feel free, if you have any questions, to put them in the chat. We'll get started with some of our questions. And Olympia, if you, excuse me, not Olympia, Victoria, yes. If you want to kick it off with a question, maybe one that all of our panelists can speak to, that'd be great.
My first question for all of you is, how have leadership experiences at Sweetbriar enhanced your college experience? And since it's for all of you, would Annika, because I can see you actually, would you please kick it off?
So the leadership opportunities at Sweetbriar have allowed me to grow as a person, especially with confidence and being able to speak in front of people like all of you lovely ladies tonight. And it's allowed me to also branch out. And when you're applying for other opportunities outside of the Sweetbriar world, all of the opportunities that Sweetbriar has allowed me has really made me stand out. And the people do tell you that when you are applying to places. And so that's really important, not only for Sweetbriar, but also for later on in life.
All right. Ingrid, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I think another very important part of leadership roles is the connections you make, both with students outside of your class, outside of, for example, for me, my sport. So you get to know much more people, and you also get to know like the staff of the college. This past year, I served as president of my class, so I got to work a lot with student life, and that's how I met Jess and Marsha, and working with them has been like a fabulous addition to my experience at Sweetbriar. It's given me like a support system that I know I can go to, and it's just been a great addition to my experience.
Thank you. Dejanay, would you like to go next?
Sure. So for me, I think in the thread with everyone else, having leadership roles at Sweetbriar has enhanced my college experience by allowing me to have new connections. And in addition, I would say that it's put me in a place where things that come natural to you get to be built upon. So for some people, I think that everyone has a chance to be the leader at Sweetbriar. And I think that if that is something you naturally feel like you can walk into, Sweetbriar builds on that by giving you so many opportunities to do so, to collaborate with others, and to grow not only as a person, but as a leader, to develop your leadership skills, to develop your communication skills, and to really reflect internally about what it means to be a leader to you.
And last but not least, Olympia.
Yeah, so Dejanay really summed it up quite nicely. I believe that my work within the SGA and admissions has really given me access to skills that I was able to kind of grow. I love being a part of SGA and being able to make decisions not only for what I'm responsible for, but for my classmates and fellow students as well. And working with admissions, I focused on my presentation skills and public speaking, which helps me find my voice, which is something that at Sweetbriar is something you just do eventually in your classes, whether it's through your presentations for work or just walking around campus talking to a group of over 50 people and be like, hi, this is why you should choose Sweetbriar. And through that past like 4 years, I've been able to kind of come up with my own sense of what leadership is in style. So.
Thank you. All right, nobody has put questions into the chat, so we will continue with questions for everybody. Please put questions in the chat as you think of them. So my next question for all of you is, what advice would you give to incoming students about getting involved? Dejanay, would you like to start? I'm going to try to randomize the order every time.
Sure. So for me, the advice I would give is that there are a plethora of opportunities when you come to Sweetbriar, and they will be in your face from the minute you get here. And I'm sure we'll talk more about the ways in which you can get involved and the ways that we kind of market those ways to get involved very soon. So I'm not going to touch on that too much. But what I will say is that knowing yourself is extremely important to the leadership roles you choose to take on. And as you go on in your time at college, you will know more about yourself, about the things that you can handle and you can't handle. But at a small school, it's easy to be over involved. So in leadership, a part of leadership is deciding not only what your best leadership skills are, but knowing when to say no to something, knowing when to take a back seat to something. And at Sweetbriar, you are enabled to do all of those things because leadership roles are abundant and you will be involved.
All right, Annika, would you like to go next?
I would say probably just go for it. If you're unsure about going to that club meeting or unsure if you would, or you don't have friends that want to go do it, go and try it out. For example, I came in, I'm not a ballroom dancer at all, and now I've been leading the club for 2 years now, and I will be doing it again next year. And it's just something that I've grown to love at Sweetbriar, and it's something I never saw myself doing, but now is a huge part of my leadership roles at Sweetbriar. So don't be afraid to join a different club, or if you're unsure about taking that leadership step, talk to other people around you and see how they think that they would also be able to help you and support you in that leadership role is really important as well.
Olympia.
Yes, so part of what my role is in SGA, or was since I passed down the title, is as far as the interclub council goes, we have about 25 different clubs and organizations on our campus, and they're ever growing. I think there's a couple students who still want to try to get some more clubs up and running, planning for next year. So it's very easy to get involved within. We have academic clubs, we have sports clubs, we have riding council, which is because we're a big equestrian school, so that's one of the bigger ones. And then we have some more of our specialty clubs, which you'll all learn about. It's like the first Friday of the academic school year. It's called Quad Rocks. You get a chance to visit all of the tables and ask questions about how to get involved and all that great stuff. And to answer your question, Erica, it's good to take a semester to get to know how the transition between high school and college as far as what you can and can't handle. But don't be afraid to I know that SGA elections are going to happen the first thing that you do. Don't be afraid. I didn't have any SGA experience, and I was in SGA for 2 years, and I loved it. So just kind of branch out. And also you'll have upperclasswomen as your sister class to kind of help guide you as well.
And then last but not least, Ingrid, I don't believe you've answered this question yet.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what everyone said. I just want to add that I think it's so important to go out of your comfort zone. College is such a good place and opportunity to try new things, to find new things that you're passionate about. And I think Sweetbriar, being a smaller community with many different leaders and many different clubs, allows you to try different things and see what you like. And I think kind of responding a little bit too, I came into Sweetbriar, and the first semester I was very, very involved, and I'm an athlete, so that I had to manage my time so much better than in high school, and it really helped me second semester, and then I think it will help my next 3 years as well. So, but yeah, creating that support system and trying things out, I think it's very important.
All right. Annika or Dejane, would you like to say something to Erica's question about how to juggle leadership roles in classes and whether you recommend taking them on first semester or waiting?
I would like to go, if that's okay.
Yep.
So I think that, and around with what Ingrid said about time management, it's extremely important to learn your strengths as you go along. So, typically we recommend you take a certain course load when you get here so you can get oriented to what it means to be at Sweetbriar, to go to class, to eat. I think scheduling is super important when you want to be involved, and at Sweetbriar we typically are very involved. I think in addition to that, knowing your strengths and knowing, I'm going to stress this the whole time I'm here, but it's because it's something I have been learning very seriously over my last 4 years, is that you need to learn when to say no. I have no doubt in my mind that you will come to Sweetbriar and you will feel at home and you will want to be involved in all of the things that we do, because they're all great things and they're enriching things and they're things you should participate in. But that does not mean that you need to participate in a leadership role in everything that you do. It doesn't mean that you need to overextend yourself or your time. Learning the methods that you need to succeed in class is already something that will be different for everyone, easy for some, difficult for some, but there is a process in that. So if you put that process and then you put the process of learning your leadership style and how to say no on top of it, first semester can be a bit overwhelming, I think, or intimidating at first look. But as long as you time manage, you know when to say no, or you begin to learn when to say no, and you reach out to those, because everybody wants to help you. So if you reach out and say, hey, I really like this thing, and I'm currently in this position, and here are some of the ideas I have. I would like to collaborate with you on that because I'm not currently in a capacity to do it the way that I would like to do it. We are solid as a sisterhood here. So as you learn yourself and you learn more at Sweetbriar, you will find things to be easier in the way of being involved and learning your leadership style, as I continue to say, and learning how to juggle them both. It's really not a waiting game because it's an active process you're involved in, but it's something that does take time. So whether you jump head first in first semester or second semester, you'll learn things. And I encourage you to be involved overall because it enriches your college experience.
Yeah, I don't think Daisy could have said it any better, but your Google Calendar will definitely become your best friend, especially when you first get there. And I think all of these ladies can agree with us. We depend on our Google Calendars to keep us in line. But definitely juggling is hard. I'm also an athlete like Ingrid. That's a big transition, trying to figure out practices and workouts and classes. But even if you're struggling, you'll have a whole team or squad or friend group, even professors. Everybody at Sweetbriar is there to help you, and they want to see you succeed. You're not going to be alone when you come to campus, and that's something to also remember. If you're afraid that you're not going to be able to take on this role, certain leadership role, don't worry about it. You still have so many years ahead. There's 4 years of college. Maybe don't take everything in one bite your first year and take it on the next year or later on. That's probably my biggest suggestion and something I've definitely had to learn being a sophomore. So.
All right. Thank you so much. Olympia, would you please say something quickly about forming a new club and how that works?
Yeah, so forming a new club is a fairly easy process, but it does take some time. There are some basic requirements, such as you need to have at least 5 members. Those are traditionally like your officers, like president, vice, treasurer, secretary, historian. Those don't necessarily have to be their titles, but definitely a president, definitely a treasurer. You're going to have to compose a constitution, which we do have an ICC manual that has all the standard components of what it means to compose a constitution. You're going to have to create a presentation to bring up to the presidents of within the ICC umbrella. So that's all of the club presidents that meet once a month around like 8 p.m. And we talk about, just the stuff and updates that are going within our community. And you have to complete a registration process that includes having an advisor on campus. And that's just some of the basics. All clubs during the fall have to go through a registration process so that we can consider them active. But when it comes to new clubs, there's a little bit more leeway. You will be required to do some sort of community service element and a social event element once you have been fully initiated and inducted underneath the ICC umbrella. So it's easy, but there's a lot of parts to it. So yeah.
All right. And to answer your question, Ashanti, I'm going to ask Jessie to quickly tell you, because I know how important it is to understand what your class schedule is going to be like before you can move on with the idea of leadership.
Yeah, so in the past, we have had students wait to enroll in classes because all of the first year students take the same 3-week class. Everybody starts with design thinking. And then once you're here and can actually meet in person with your advisor, that's when you plan out your schedule for the 12-week session. So in case you guys don't know, I think most of you have visited campus, but typical semester is split into 2, instead of it being 2 15-week semesters, it is split into a 3-week term. Sorry. My work phone was going off. So we have a 3-week term where you take 1 class every day for 3 weeks. You then start a 12-week term where you take 3 or 4 classes like you would in a typical class or any other school that you would attend. We go to winter break, we come back for a 12-week session, and we finish up the school year with another 3-week. But as I mentioned, all of our first year students come in and take design thinking in that 3 weeks. So in the past, we've waited to do class registration for the 12-week until the 3-week is underway. There have been talks about us changing that and trying to get all the classes sorted out over the summer before you actually come to campus, but that hasn't been finalized yet. So what we've done in the past is we wait till you actually get here to do classes, to do class selection, I should say.
All right, thank you so much. And
No
then
problem.
a question for all of you, though, no, I think all of you would be really good at answering this, is are there leadership roles that reach out to surrounding communities? Thank you, Carlin, for that question. Any of you can take the floor if you would like to.
So I'll go ahead and start. We actually just created a position within SGA that kind of takes a step that was in ICC as the Director of Community Service and moved it to the SGA, like, what do we call them, Jess? Administration?
The SGA Administrative Cabinet.
That one. So we just created a role which Dharma, I believe it is. Dara.
Dara.
Dara will be working with not only community service opportunities on campus, but community service within our community. So that is a freshly new position. So you might have to kind of just wait a little bit so she can figure out all the bugs, but she will find opportunities for you.
I would also add, we've done things in the past, in addition to every club holding community service, where the club members will go off campus together to volunteer at an established organization or doing things for the Sweetbriar community. We've also in the past held community service days for our local community in Amherst. And the one that I'm thinking of, we previously have partnered with Hampton-Sydney College, which is a local men's college. And so students came together to work at our animal shelter and our local thrift shops and Goodwills and that sort of thing. And that's definitely one of those opportunities that Dara is going to be able to expand upon, bringing back sort of a, whether it's semesterly or yearly day of service for the local community.
Like besides community service, I think we also, I mean, at least I have been able to go into the community through a leadership conference that we had at the local Lynchburg University. So a bunch of us, leaders on campus, we got invited, and it was during 3 days that we would go and participate in workshops and panels, and we got to meet people in 6 different colleges from the surrounding area, and it was a great opportunity for sure.
I would like to add in the thread with Ingrid that we have clubs that are also considered affinity groups, and so that would be the Black Student Alliance, which I'm the president of, I won't be the president of next year, but I am until the transition meeting on Monday. Anyway, we have that club, we have Latinx, and we have Go. And in these clubs, there's often reaching out in our capacity as leaders on campus, but also because we service the campus in such a way that is distinct, because we're servicing minority students. We reach out very often. So I've been to some panels on race and social justice, and I've had an opportunity to go to a conference with a lot of the diversity and inclusivity committee on that. So we're in the process, specifically the affinity groups, of bridging gaps and building up a strong network where we can have outreach in that community, which will also include community service.
Yeah, I'm actually really, really proud of all of our clubs on campus, especially BSA with their sunrise service, and Glow with their the different months they do for gender awareness and all that kind of really amazing work. They've both, you guys have done a lot this year, and I'm really proud of each of you guys.
Just another thing to add, with working with surrounding communities, this year we started Sweet Scouts, which is a Girl Scout group. So if any of you are in Girl Scouts or wanted to ever be in Girl Scouts. We started that. We have about 30 girls in that right now. I know myself, I have my silver and gold, and I was able to especially bring my gold award to campus since it was focused on bees, and I was my head student beekeeper and everything. So we do a lot we do have a troop on campus, so we're hoping to do a lot with them. And then our goal next year is to host so many Girl Scout events on Sweetbriar's campus with our help. I know one that we do very often is Brownie Science Day. And so that's usually a big event that all students are able to help out as, and that's been a very successful event the past couple of years. So if any of you are interested in that, that's a great thing also to get involved with communities outside.
Mhm. All right. So unless I missed a question, I don't see any more in the chat for right now. I would like to ask everybody, um, we know that Sweetbriar students develop strong connections with their professors and advisors in their academic field of study. What students may not expect is the close relationships that develop with their club advisors, coaches, and other faculty or staff who impact their extracurricular activities. Have any of you had such experience and with an advisor or mentor in any of your student activities? Annika, would you like to start?
Sure. So I've had a lot of experiences like this. I'll just choose one of them. For example, my advisor is Dr. Fink. She's the head of biology. And last year, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do over the summer. And there was a program being offered in Alaska. And I didn't think I had the chance to get in. And I was like, I'm not going to apply for it, not going to apply. And she was like, just do it. And I was like, I'm a freshman. I don't have a chance. So I ended up applying. I ended up being accepted. And I also was able to get a scholarship to pay for the whole entire trip. So I was off the grid for a month in Alaska, and it was definitely the best experience of my life. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the push from Dr. Fink. And even before that, Dr. Fink is just always there to help you. We were able to work together. I did a direct study with her this past year with all the beekeeping clubs, activities, and even though the whole virus ended those, we were very excited to get that kicked off. So there's just an example of an advisor willing to help you. Anything you voice your opinion on, your advisors, coaches, anybody on the campus is going to try their best to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And I think that's the main goal that Sweetbriar, and that's such a special thing that Sweetbriar does have to offer, is that right there.
All right. Olympia, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I guess Annika did a really good job of like explaining everything in your answer, but don't forget your alumni. We have a great alumni relations group on campus in the AR&D department, Alumni Relations and Development Building, and they'll be able to help you find internships anywhere that you are in your local areas. Don't forget that there are different alums scattered throughout the world, and we host different events. And so through my connections, I was able to, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I was able to go be a corporate intern for the Biltmore Estate, which is this beautiful house in the Blue Ridge. And that was a wonderful leadership opportunity. I got to expand my knowledge about how to handle large groups and how to deal with cranky people who've been sitting in the sun, and kind of contribute all of that back to my leadership style and skills back on campus, where we have like roughly 320-ish students. So that's how I've been able to kind of use that.
Mm-hmm. Dejane, would you like to say something?
Sure. So I'll talk. I think I'll just talk a little bit here and there so people get a full picture of the things you can get. So I'm a biology and psychology major and a chemistry minor, but I'm the co-editor-in-chief and designer there of our literary magazine. I took an intro to creative writing class with one of our great professors, Professor JGB, or John Gregory Brown, in my sophomore year, I believe, but I had him in my intro English class. And through my class and experience with him, I was also able to meet Carrie Brown, his wife, and she's been the advisor of the literary magazine all 4 years. So I have a very close relationship with her, where we just talk about what it means to run a literary club on campus, because in addition to producing the magazine, we produce a reading series and we do stuff for National Poetry Month, and just centering what it means to write, to be a writer, to be involved in that. And so I've been able to foster a very close relationship with her and with JGB that I am extremely grateful to have, because writing is one of my greatest loves. It's not, when you come to college, you don't always get to fit everything. Sweetbriar does their best to make it so that you can fit as much as possible, but you don't always get to fit everything. And so one of my ways to continue to be a great writer and to expand as a writer was to be involved heavily in Red Clay in that way, and to have a direct relationship with Professor Brown, both of them. In addition to that, I am on the Black Student Alliance, and I've had the opportunity to have a close relationship with the advisors for that club, which I got to choose. And so for that, we have Braxton Braswell, who works in admissions. Some of you may have spoken with him. We have Jeffrey Owen, who works in tech, and we have Professor Dewana Wall, which is in history. So none of those have any direct relation to me, but I've been able to foster close relationships and get things done on campus with them, and they've been invaluable to me. And it's totally out of the scope of the things that I study, and I'm super grateful for that.
Thank you. Ingrid, would you like to say something?
Yeah, like when I first heard the question, the first person that comes to mind to me is our advisor for Latinx, Jenny Carlos. I mean, everyone at Sweetbriar, it's impressive. Everyone goes above and beyond for you. Like she will reach out to me like during everything that's going on right now, seeing if I'm okay, if I need anything. And while on campus, she was always there for me, and understanding being far away from your family and from your culture. Like for me, she was always ready and thinking a step ahead for me to have the best experience possible, and the support I needed, the resources I needed, absolutely anything. And that has been my experience with all my advisors, with my professors, with my coach. She is also amazing. Coaches and the athletic people in general are amazing. They are great hard workers. Like right now we're doing online workout classes and getting together and having practices and leadership meetings, and they're just so committed to you. And even though we're D3, they know how important our sport is to us, so it is as well for them, and they show their passion through their commitment, which is something I really appreciate, and one of the things that called me to Sweetbriar.
All right, thank you. And then Jess, would you like to answer Erica's question about the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, so thank you for pointing that out, Erica. We currently don't offer any partnership with the Boy Scouts, but I definitely think that's something that's new on the horizon in general. And so that's not something we currently offer, but maybe in the future. Sorry, I can also answer Michaela's question. How will all the wonderful clubs function this fall with the need for social distancing due to COVID-19? And so what I would say to that is, recognizing that potentially some things may not be the same as it's always looked for our current students, but thinking in innovative new ways. We've been continuing a lot of our involvement business, if you want to call it, since we have been off campus, and we do bi-weekly student government meetings, monthly club meetings. We've had clubs hosting virtual bingo, trivia, regular meetings. So we haven't, skipped a beat in terms of that. We've still been able to come together as a community and share in that. So it's definitely things that we're thinking about and kind of having contingency plans for how will some of our larger on-campus events look and what are precautions that we need to put into place. But I definitely think that one of the good things coming out of this time is recognizing how important our time with each other is and being able to still find creative ways to have that time.
I saw a question from Ashanti that asked the difference between the school newspaper and Red Clay, our literary magazine on campus. So we don't currently have an active school newspaper. If that is something you're interested in, I would work with ICC next year to get up and running. Right Clay, as our literary magazine on campus, produces one literary magazine per year for now, which may change in the coming future. I look forward to see where it's going, where we showcase students' artwork and their fiction and nonfiction writing. So usually that takes the form, I wish I had one. I don't think I have one here with me, but it usually takes the form of a magazine like this big. And there are high resolution images in there, and people will submit their poetry, and then, like I was saying, their short story, sometimes their personal essays. It really just depends, and it's just to showcase the quality of writing that we have on campus. And it's a great process, but very, very different from a school newspaper, where we don't really do like think pieces or anything like that. And the submission process, we collect in the fall, and then we judge and produce in the spring.
Yeah, the closest thing we have to a newspaper is probably our SGA announcements or student life announcements, like this week at Sweetbriar, or some, like our class president has done like a newsletter for us that's been sent to us as a class. So that's the closest thing as far as a newspaper goes that I'm aware of.
I have heard that there has been a lot of student interest in starting a newspaper, so that's definitely, please bring that energy to Sweetbriar so we can get it up and running. I was actually asked by Beth Lindsay, who is our head librarian, if I would mind helping with that, because I was editor-in-chief of the student newspaper at my college. So, and I love editing because I'm a nerd, but yeah, so that's something we want to have up and running soon.
Yeah, and we've had it in previous years. It's just that when seniors graduate and they don't like elect younger classwomen, clubs tend to die out or things just tend to fall through the cracks. But that's usually how those slip away. But we have had them in the past.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. The next question I'm going to ask is for Ingrid and Annika. Can you please talk a little bit about managing life as a student athlete while also being involved in student clubs and organizations?
So it's definitely hard to balance at first. I'm sure Ingrid can agree with me on that one. But basically, your first year there, your coaches are willing to help you. If you have an assignment or something else going on, go to your coaches and tell them what's going on, and they're willing to let you have practice. So that's how that will end up working out. But you're allowed one day out of the week for academics. So, and you also have a lot of tutors and other help. So it's definitely not a problem trying to balance a sport and other leadership opportunities. It's definitely back to what we were talking about at the beginning. You take what you can chew and build off of that over time.
I just want to add, so my sport is in the fall, so I started right away. I started with my sport even before classes with preseason, and I say during season is my best time. I have the biggest support system, my team, my coach, everyone in the athletics department, and we're a D3 school, and we are students before we're athletes, and our coaches, and everyone knows that. So it's very, very focused on our academics before anything else. As a team, we do study halls on Sundays, and then during the week, everyone in their first semester, we have to do 4 hours every week. So we are committed to being a student before an athlete, and we have all the support needed for that. Our coaches really, really encourage us to go to the ARC, go to tutors, talk to our professors, and just having that communication, explaining if you're ever going to miss a day because we have an away game or a practice or something. So definitely communication really allowed me to participate well in my sport and excel in my academics while still being able to be a leader on campus and participate in the things I wanted to.
Thank you. My next question is for Olympia. Would you please tell us more about the opportunities to be involved in the theater and dance programs? And do you have to be a major to participate?
Yeah, of course. So we are not a competitive school as far as our arts program goes. With dance, if you can keep a rhythm in like your feet, you can dance. We are modern. We teach modern contemporary. Um, our two dance professors are going to be retiring this year, but I know that we are hiring some new folks, so I'm very excited about that. And in order just to be involved in the dance concert, you just have to be you have to be enrolled in a technique class so that you don't harm yourself on stage. It's just precaution for your body. And for as far as theater goes, you don't have to have any experience at all. If you don't want to be on stage, you're like absolutely not. Try your hand at doing crew, where you're backstage or your stage manager, or if you were like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and try out for this part. They base it also off of your the potential that they see in you, not your background. And so I'm not a musical theater major, nor my theater major, but I've been in like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead because my best friends were musical theater majors. I was also in Heathers the musical, and I didn't think I was going in for a singing part, but I thought I was just going in for like the dance team part, and there was singing involved, and I just got over that part and participated because it was really fun. It's really, really fun. It's completely open and welcome to everybody.
All right then. And then one question we sort of skipped over a little bit earlier, but I'm going to ask Jess to come back and answer now, is how does this all change if you're a transfer student?
Victoria, so the short answer is that it wouldn't really change by much. We've had a lot of success with transfer students coming in and kind of jumping right in and getting their feet wet. And it's almost a benefit sometimes, having come from a college atmosphere and knowing at least a little bit about the workload and what to expect can be a benefit to you. We do have a position that sits on our Student Government Association that is the non-traditional student representative. And so that person is elected out of our non-traditional students, which would be transfers, turning points, commuter students, and international students. And so they really advocate for being inclusive of transfer students in everything, from thinking about our event planning to our traditions. I will say as an aside, if you are a transfer student coming in that is actively interested in participating in traditions, make sure that you're reaching out to your class officers or to myself or someone in student life to talk about, since a lot of our traditions are class year based, we can make up, kind of whip up a little plan that's specific for you to be able to integrate you in those traditions proactively.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question is for Annika, which is, what are some of the non-environmental science majors, what are some ways that non-environmental science majors can get involved in the sustainability efforts on campus?
So there is the Sustainability Club, which just was reinstated this year. We have a lot of events already planned for next year. There's also, I'm hoping either the beekeeping will have club events on the weekends again, or will at some point be a class that will be offered through Sweetbriar. So there will also be that. And then a special thing, we have the community garden on campus. It is just behind the horse barn and stables and fields there, where students can get plots and plant whatever they wish. Their professors have areas up there. Other people who live on the campus have plots up there for planting different varieties of crops. And then just in the near future, there will most likely be different job opportunities when the greenhouse is complete, and in the apiary and the vineyards and everything else like that. But those are still up and coming right now. But those will be an opportunity in the future. So really, you don't have to be an environmental science major to have environmental opportunities. You can come speak to myself if you're interested in beekeeping, or Dr. Fink, Professor Powell, who is our Director of Sustainability. If you want to be involved, you reach out to them, and we will ensure that you're included and offered all the opportunities that environmental sciences also has.
Can I add a little something? Sustainability, I think it's so cool. Right now they're doing like an Instagram challenge. So they did like 5 different days that you had to show different ways that you're like, I don't know, being sustainable at home. And I was participating, and people who participate can get a t-shirt, and I just think it's a really cool way to, and a way that we're all during all of this still getting in touch and sharing what we're doing. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. So I would like to let everybody know that we have 7 to 10 minutes left in this. So if you have any last minute questions, please ask them. And then, does anybody feel they can answer Ashanti's question about the bookshop?
There currently aren't, based on last year at least, there aren't any student jobs available in the bookshop. We do have jobs available, things like our barn, our library, our fitness and athletic center working the desk, other positions on campus within student life, helping plan student activities with admissions. And then a lot of our offices on campus have traditional office jobs and that sort of thing that are available for students to apply to.
Thank you, Jess. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities. So my next question is for Ingrid and Olympia. What are some of the functions of SGA, which is our Student Government Association, on campus? Olympia, would you like to start?
Yeah, so some of our functions on campus, like, what do you mean exactly? Like, what do we all do? Okay, so what we do on SJ is that we will listen to constitution changes within different subcommittees, like ICC would have to update their constitution every year. We approve of budget requests, like events that happen on campus, parties, different leadership opportunities and stuff like that. And sometimes we'll have, like, the dean came to see us one time to get our opinion on things. But overall, I don't know, we do so much. It seems like the meeting is going forever, but they really don't. It's just a lot of the community leaders coming together. Ingrid?
Yeah, I think also, so you can like have an image, a better image of SGA. So it's the administrative board, and then all of the class presidents and vice presidents, and then the liaisons or presidents of like diversity or non-traditional, ICC, etc. So we all come together. We each of this like clubs or groups of people have a vote, and we vote on budgets. So we have a budget for the entire year, and we allocate this. We see where it wants to go, what kind of events we want on campus. We also bring in concerns that students may have or ideas that we have heard from other people. So it's just like an opportunity for the students' voices to be heard and to do something about it. That's why we bring the dean, or we brought campus security to address those concerns. So it's just like having that opportunity to make a point with what we see going on campus.
One of the, I think the most recent things that we did before spring break is that we noticed that some of our furniture down in lower quad was getting a little bit dated. And so we're like, let's go buy some new ones, or like, let's set some money aside so that we can get some new furniture down there. So that's just an example of some stuff that SJ has been able to do.
Mm-hmm. I will say when I've had to, I'm just going to add in here because I've also been on SGA. The way I always categorized it for myself, because it is such an overarching organization on our campus, is the group of people who are the liaisons to every other aspect of campus and help create the events that you enjoy during your time at Sweetbriar. And I think that really sort of covers the two different segments of SGA. So,
I saw a question from Damaris that I can answer about Latinx. That's okay.
yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
So throughout the year, we do very different things. We try to honor our different cultures because there's people from many different countries in the club, and I mean everyone's welcome to join, but we do like something for Dia de los Muertos. They did like cookies, and for Thanksgiving we did a little dinner together with our traditional foods, and something very, very important for the club for me, we got to go to New York City to a Latinx leadership conference, which was such an amazing opportunity. We got to meet people from their own Latinx clubs from hundreds of other colleges, and talk about our struggles being Latinx in our campuses and the things we're doing, new activities. So yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement and a lot of room to create new things. So yeah, and if you want to talk more about it, you can also send me an email or a text, or I'll put my phone number if that's okay.
Let's do your email. Just do email for right now, and then you guys can exchange it.
And Katie, I'll touch on your question. When would we need to start applying for on-campus work, and how would we do that? So human resources will be at our student resource fair that we have during orientation on that very first day. It's kind of like you come in, you're welcomed, you get your key, and then immediately there's all these different campus offices there to provide you information, and HR will be there. If you want to, you can privately shoot me your email and I can get you connected to them. But I believe that everything starts in the fall. And if you do have work study as part of your financial aid package, they can definitely help you work the ins and outs of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see Ashanti asked, I know what YouTube video you're talking about, Ashanti. She vlogged when they went to Short Pump Mall, so that's funny. I actually saw that the other day. So she said, how do you suggest a field trip? So Campus Events Organization and Student Life coordinate many of our off-campus trips. And so once you're here, you'll be able to either attend an SGA meeting to suggest that, or just stop by the office, which is above the dining hall, and suggest where you want to go. They offer either low or no cost trips. They've done things like seen the Nutcracker Ballet at a reduced cost, done free trips to corn mazes, ice skating, a lot of seasonal events, movie trips. So there's definitely a lot to be able to get you off campus as well, even if you don't have a car.
All right. Thank you. I will ask Jessie and Jess, which is the most confusing part of my entire life, I will admit. How would you like to proceed? It is now 8:01. We have a few more questions we could ask if you want to.
Let's go ahead and ask the questions, like if we can answer them. And if you want sticking around a little bit longer, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, if you have any last minute ones you want to throw in the chat, that'd be awesome as well.
Mm-hmm. So one of the questions I think is really important is, what is the most significant student leadership experience you've had at Sweetbriar? Annika, will you start? I see you again, so.
Probably the most significant leadership experience I've had is my process in becoming head student beekeeper. I started my freshman year. I came in and I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, so I have this background in beekeeping already and other agriculture activities. And I went to Dr. Fink and I was like, have we ever thought about getting bees? And she was like, funny you asked that, because we're about to put in 20 hives. And so then I immediately just went along with everything that was happening. I had to completely suit up immediately and help install those hives. I watch out for those hives a lot, any event that happens during swarm season. So it's been my job per se to get everything going with attaching the students to the beekeeping opportunities. And I was able to do that this past year with our weekend beekeeping clubs, and last year when we offered a class on the weekends as well. So I'm hoping that in at least the next 2 years while I'm still there, we'll be able to offer a class worth credits, which is still in the works. But that's been something, that's my little passion at Sweetbriar, is getting that started. And then that's been able to help me get other job opportunities and things like that. Before COVID hit, I was planning on spending a month in France with an alum, studying alongside of a well-known beekeeper, female beekeeper at that, and doing studies. So I still have my fingers crossed that I might go to France this summer, but just that's probably been the biggest thing that's pushed me. And I've had to give a lot of talks and other things like that to not only students but crowds from outside. I'm sure a lot of you saw the pictures when the governor was there and the Secretary of Agriculture. I had to show them the apiary and give them a tour. So that's definitely something that Sweetbriar has really made me step out of my comfort zone and have my voice heard to some of the biggest names in the agricultural world right now. So.
All right. Olympia, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so I think I started the Kappa Pi International Art Honor Society chapter, Kappa Theta, at Sweetbriar College. I had noticed, I think it was my junior year, that there wasn't really an honor society for our art students, and there are a lot of our visual arts seniors that were coming up and juniors and all that, and I wanted to be able to represent them in their art show. Obviously, before COVID hit, I was planning on getting, more publicity for them so that they can show off their work with our visiting other societies nearby. And that process was particularly challenging because there hadn't been a student that started an honor society in a minute. And so trying to figure out who to talk to, how to get the ball rolling. We were in the middle of transitioning deans, so there's a lot of paperwork that I had to do in heading it. And then when there's miscommunication within who the inductees would be, I actually got a lot of slack for it because people were like, oh, Olympia didn't include me. Why is that? But I was like, no, I didn't get to see who got in. I'm just trying to make sure that this happens as an opportunity for you. So learning how to deal with negative comments and stuff like that definitely helps build up a backbone. But that's probably been the biggest accomplishment for me as far as a student leader, was creating an art honor society for my fellow visual artists on campus. And we're having an induction, I think, in the next 2 weeks. So I get to pass down that presidency. Yeah.
All right. Dejanay, would you like to go next?
Sure. So I'm a person that sees things in all of the shades and colors. So for me, I don't know if one is essentially more important than the other or more significant in shaping me into who I've become, but I will talk about one that I've worked very hard with. I've already talked about Red Clay, so I wouldn't leave that alone. As Black Student Alliance president, I've had to navigate quite a few things and kind of put down foundations, strong foundations. So the point of becoming a president and going into leadership in a club is that you build upon what was done before you. And so that's what I have been doing. Black Student Alliance has transitioned from being the Minority Student Alliance as we've had growing affinity clubs on campus. And so in the role where you are a service to the campus, where you are the voice for an entire group of people and making sure that they're being serviced and included in a way, and that the diversity is being showcased in the best way, putting your best foot forward, has been a challenging thing and something that I'm extremely grateful for, and that has been rewarding in my time here.
Thank you. And I believe that leaves Ingrid.
Yes, I think definitely this past year being president of my class was an amazing opportunity. I think I got to meet my class in very profound ways, getting to know the different little groups and just everyone as a whole, and being able to create bonding activities and things to get to know our bigs of the junior class. I just felt like I had a big role in how all of us little ones in our first year were introduced into the college, and the opportunities and the connections we were making, and just having a good base, a good backbone for the rest of our years was very important for me, and it was a great experience.
All right then. So for our last question, unless somebody has something really last minute, I would like to ask everybody, what is your favorite event you've been to on campus? And Ingrid, you went last, so you can go first now.
I'm not ready. My favorite event. Yeah, can it be like a tradition?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think, okay, whatever. For Founders Day, I just loved it. It was just very meaningful seeing the whole college come together and just be so united by the same thing, and by like our core is just so important for all of us, and just recognizing that and walking together was just very special to me. It really felt like it was a family, and yeah.
All right, thank you. Annika, would you like to go next?
Yes, my favorite is probably step singing, which is when all of the classes make up songs and we sing them to one another up in upper quad. It's a great experience. Definitely always go. Usually the seniors will sit on the senior steps and you sing them their songs, and they're most likely crying, and they're in their robes, and it's just really such an eye-opening event also, and just all of us there together, and just you really reminisce on everything that's happened that year, and you're ready for that year since it happens at the beginning and at the end of the year. So it's truly something special that Sweetbriar does twice a year. So it's definitely something to be a part of.
Thank you. Dejanay, would you like to go next?
Sure. So I think I have two really favorite events. Well, quite a few. So I'll name them, but I'll just try to keep it to three. So some of my favorite events that we do on campus of all time. So one of them is, I'm biased because I'm the Black Student Alliance president, but every year we hold an event called Kingston Curls Night, and it's a night that celebrates the diversity of hair, where people come together to talk about their Kingston curls, and there's gift bags, and it's just a great time, a shared time, a time for community, a time where diversity and inclusivity is the forefront in the conversation. So I extremely enjoy that. Another one is that when we have literary magazines, we usually do a reading. So it's the time for all of people on campus who have submitted or not submitted to come together and celebrate the hard work of their fellow creative students. And I think lastly for me in that same thread is every year the creative writing, English and creative writing department puts on a browsing room kind of series. So it's not actually in the browsing room like we do. It's in the gallery downstairs in the library. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but you will. And they bring amazing artists, and they bring amazing writers and musicians to campus from across the way at the VCCA. And it's just an amazing time to expose yourself to things that you like, to things that you didn't know you like yet, and to learn something, because there's always something to learn.
A lot of my favorites are kind of already taken, which is fine. But two of my favorites would probably have to be Christmas tree lighting, and that's where around December we get a big old tree that is, well, it's not super big. It's your average size tree that gets lit up in the middle of Upper Quad, and we sing Christmas carols all together. The horses come down from the barn for riding council, and they're all decked out in their Christmas gear, and there's hot chocolate and cookies. There's so many cookies. And then another one would probably be lantern bearing. So it's a tradition for the seniors, but it's also for all the other class years. So you get to walk in a circle in Upper Quad like 3 times with everybody, and the 4th time you do it by yourself, like with your senior class. And then there's certain songs sung to you. So like Annika's my little, and so she has a lantern for me whenever we have lantern bearing, when life gets back to normal. So
Mm-hmm.
I miss that.
I do too. Which is a great segue, as Jess points out, that there will be a traditions panel and there's information for that in the chat. I do not see at this point any other questions, so I'd like to thank everybody for coming, thank our panelists. Jess or Jessie, do you have any finishing remarks?
I do not. I would just encourage everybody, if you're not already signed up, to join us next week, and follow us on Instagram at SBC Sweet Life for more information.
Yeah, and we're so excited to see you guys in the fall, because if my memory serves, all of the prospective students have actually deposited, so they're gonna be here. So that's awesome. We're so excited to have you guys join the Sweetbriar family, and thanks for taking time out of your evening to learn a little bit more about what all is to come next for you guys. So have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all.